why the ministers or the government was waiting for the students to come on the roads? Why weren't they accountable the time before? The same thing happened in 2024 itself. Why weren't they taking any actions at that time? They forced the student to step out, to get on the roads, to be to do everything possible. And the protest was led quite peacefully from my point of view, because each and every student there has stood up and put their voice across, and I think that's why we have won this.
Meet, what about you? Do you think the government could have done this sooner, and the agitation and the protest was instrumental in making the government realize that this is a problem that they perhaps underestimated? Meet? You're muted. Meet, you're muted at this point in time. Okay. Let me bring in Shekhar once again. Shekhar, let's also think about what kind of timelines is the government going to work with when it comes to this. Public memory is short, right? Things could move on from here to there. There are other agitations also being planned, is what I heard. There's an ethanol march that's happening. Tehseen Poonawalla is going to in fact be leading it on Friday. That's a march towards the parliament in your cars or your bikes. There is another movement which is Reservation Hatao Yojana movement, which has also garnered about 1 million followers in 4 days. Is the government bracing for all this quickly, or do you think, like before, they are going to take their time?
Vineet, this protest which happened has opened the floodgates. It's given a lot of impetus to people that, if you protest, things will get delivered here. Now, the government has to be very proactive here. Like the task force they have created for education, I think you have to create task forces for different sectors within the industry itself. And it's not a bad idea, because we've got so much of intellectual power. We've got so much of brain power. Why don't we use it well, coupled with technology, coupled with artificial intelligence? We go around telling the world that we are Viksit Bharat. We talk about the fact that we want to be developed. I think this is a chance to showcase what the government is really capable of. If they can do it, they can execute this. It's totally up to the government how do they execute it. But I think what's really important is they have to have the ears to the ground. They have to understand what is the pulse of the larger populace. What do the youngsters really want? What do they want? I think from what we've heard from the two participants is they want the government to be more proactive. So the government really has to be quick. They have to execute faster, and they have to get the ears to the ground as quickly as possible. Now, in terms of all the protests which are going to happen, government has to be ready for this, because they were not proactive in the first place. If they're taken so much of time in not being accountable, and suddenly they wake up one fine day and say, okay, we will be accountable, they have to start taking action now. I think the whole spirit of accountability has to come in, and the government is actually, taking a step forward in doing it, and they would face some resistance early on. But I think what's important is, are they doing this with the spirit of collaboration? Are they doing this with the spirit of execution? Are they doing this with the spirit of partnership? Are they doing this with the spirit of accountability, and to ensure that, that they're doing what is right for the country? That's important.
Kalyani ji, your thoughts on these other protests also shaping up as a result of what the CJP did at Jantar Mantar?
Pardon? I couldn't hear you properly.
Ma'am, there's a number of other protests and agendas. Reservation Hatao Bill is also what is being demanded at this point in time. There are people on social media who are saying that the reservation is also responsible for killing equal opportunities in education for the people of India.
You see, not only for education, even in jobs, for the doctors and the AIMS also, they were agitated about the reservation. But then, if you remove the reservation, then what happens? Other people will come and say, give us a reservation. We are backward, we need a reservation to come up, all that. So you have to make a balance between the two, and how you would camouflage it and then deliver it. It's a very tough decision for the government also, I think. And not only reservation, there are many other things, they have to take care of, the government has to take care of. They can expect anything from anywhere now, like this happened just 40, 50 days ago. But whoever thought of this a cockroach party will give this much of headache to the government. Nobody thought it was just coming for some time and then it will disappear. That kind of thing was feeling. And now, fortunately, there is no party affiliation for this cockroach party. That's one big advantage for that. And it has no ideology. So that also is another big, advantage for the cockroach party. But now we never know, the parties are waiting, including BJP, whether they should help these people to form a party and, take them over or at least make them as one of the, alliances. So you don't know, they all seem to be having a long-term project, but right now the Cockroach Party has said that they will only spread around and build the grassroots thing. So it's not the end of it. You see, you have to wait and see what happens in future.
Let me try and bring in Meet into this conversation once again. Meet, there are other students who are demanding more from the government. There is a talk about a reservation movement. Do you think it's the right way to approach and get things done from the government?
We, the government, did all the protest and other than they promised that we need all anything they were not be sponsors for any of us. But we then ended the protest in fact, and we have tried to be good with it. The these should be from the both sides, from the student and from the government. The steps taken very hard. And the thing that our Prime Minister said, might be done very earlier regarding that, and maybe more step with the help of additional measures and regarding other issues of economic which is much with them. So,
Shekhar, what about a task force when it comes to pollution? What about a task force when it comes to the question of ethanol, which is obviously something that will will be brought up in the parliament as well? Is that something which is going to take the pressure off the government? It's very, very evident that there is palpable pressure on the government.
Yeah, I think, there's no dearth of talent in the government, Vineet. We have different stakeholders in the government. It's not just about Modi. I think the Prime Minister has to show faith in his team. This is what leadership is real all about. I think till now what we have seen is just Modi's face everywhere, where the buck typically stops at the Prime Minister. But I think there needs to be different stakeholders within the party, within who can take charge of this and run with it. And in terms of a task force, there is no dearth of intellectual capital in India. We've got experts in every field. We need to have these experts, and like Kalyani ma'am said, you need to give them freedom. You need to give them a long run because it's a creative opportunity. It's an opportunity where you can influence and impact India as a country. So it's very important that freedom is given, and it's very important that execution also happens. There has to be a real-time effort in terms of showing that it's not just a task force which you create, but the task force has got teeth to even execute and deliver. And the Prime Minister has to also oversee that, to show the degree of accountability, to show a degree of responsibility, and to show that they're really serious about it. Because right now, they want to own the narrative. They want to show the rest of India or Bharat that we are there for a particular reason. We are an elected government, and they want to show that they're serious about it. And the only way they can do that is by delivering. So task force is imperative in everything which is outstanding. But what's also important is in the task force you have the right persons for the right position. And also, do we have a dashboard in place? Do we use technology well in this? Can we use AI in this? And can we also take care of the mental health, which is also something which everybody is grappling with right now in terms of all these different things which are happening around us.
Ria, do you think that this task force should have had somebody from, the group of people who were protesting at Jantar Mantar as well? Some representation of Gen Z should also be there?
I think, sir, of course, because the time we have seen, the only accountable person I know these days is actually the Gen Zs, because they have stood up for themselves. Because the only thing I have learned in my whole life and in my social studies is, if you want to destroy a country, the only possible way is to destroy the education system, and that's what's happening in our country as well. Because the government has been dealing with the paper leaks or anything, the mishappenings with the papers or the OMR sheets, I am also a victim of that. When I gave my re-NEET paper on 21st of June, the time limitation was of 3 hours and 15 minutes. But I was taken away by my paper at 5 o'clock itself, which is 15 minutes earlier than the duration. So it causes a great impact on a student's life as well. But at the same time, parliament doesn't consist of youngsters like us. So the voice doesn't reaches the parliament.
So what's the best way of getting to the parliament? Is it marching towards the parliament, or do you think that there's a healthy dialogue or a window that the government should open up between Gen Z and the parliamentarians to assimilate their ideas when they make laws?
Sir, I think the best way possible is to conduct press conferencing and not only allowing the Man Ki Baat thing, but there are many ways, but the government is not ready to listen. The protest, the marching, this is not the only way, because we people are only dealing with the lathi charges and the expired tear gases. We are not getting anything in return. The Delhi police has been taken up, and I've seen those videos, and I deeply feel for those students. They are students of age 18, 19, and even smaller.
I agree
And
with
Delhi
you.
police have, yeah. So I don't think these things are fair.
All right, let's hope that whatever is being done by the government is in the right spirit and in the right direction. The government has made a move. They've come forth. They've delivered on all the demands of the CJP. They're obviously being watched now, both the government and the CJP, whether this was an actual moment for the welfare of the students, or was this some sort of a launching pad for a political initiative, is something that we'll only find out in the days to come. But we've run out of time. I appreciate everyone who joined in and weighed in. We'll be right back.